Everyone, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Village Board meeting for December 12th. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody, please stand for the pledge, and then remain standing for a moment of silence. Armed forces serving throughout the world. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to, a motion to accept the minutes from our meeting held November 26, 2019.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Des, please read abstract number 13.
Abstract 13 contains vouchers 191111 through 191198 and totals $180,104.20.
Thank you. Motion to approve abstract 13.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to authorize the village engineer to file applications on behalf of the Village of Woodbury Board of Trustees.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve a general fund budget modification per Clerk Potvin's memo dated 12/4/2019.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve a water and sewer budget modification per Clerk. Per Clerk Potvin's memo dated 12/4/2019.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Go Vikings.
Did you just say cluck?
No. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, last agenda item of the evening, motion to cancel December 26th Village Board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I assume there's no discussion, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that concludes our business for this evening. Excuse me. But we have no old business, we have no new business, so with that, I'm going to go right out to public comment. Anybody in the first row would like to come up and say anything? Anybody in the second row? Yes.
Just state your name.
Davidson. I don't know. You saw it? That's right. I don't need it. I found out that this was the last meeting. I just wanted to come and pay my respects.
It's not like I'm dead.
Well, it is political. And I wanted to say that it was a privilege having you as our mayor for many, many years and working with you personally on the village side and then when I was on the town side. And I just want to congratulate you on your, I think it's a decade, if I'm not mistaken, of service to this community. Very well done and appreciated by all, even though you may not get the recognition you deserve. And I'd like to wish the new board members, although they're not here, but the new mayor, an opportunity to hopefully do the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the second row?
Okay. Sandy Capriglione. This is for you, Mike.
Is that on, Sandy? Because
Is it on?
Now it is. Yes.
Now it's
gotta
on?
talk into
Do I have
it.
to yell?
Yeah,
Okay.
just like Neil, you got to talk into it.
Okay. You and I started out this village venture together in '09. I really didn't like you then. In fact,
I could tell.
In fact, I ran on a different line. You, Flood, and Egan were the party of common sense, while Steph, Fred, and I made up the community, but hence, The three of you won that race and set history into motion, but I continued to question you, your board, and your devotion. The years went by, you set the pace and led with all your muster. For those who would disparage you, you didn't show them fluster. I watched as you developed your plans to put Woodbury on track, to keep us safe, improve our lives, and you never have looked back. You always did the research and kept your spending down, stood up to bullies everywhere, and even to the town. And now the time has come, Mr. Mayor, for you to pass along the reins, and I would be remiss if I did not tell you with great pains. I, for one, will miss you, your strength and your stubborn streak, for you have shown that running the village isn't for the mild or the meek. In case you haven't noticed, you've earned my sincerest respect. So enjoy tonight and the days ahead as you take time to reflect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the second row? Anybody in the third row? Anybody in the fourth row?
I feel like I'm going on a confession. Is this on? Mike, David said it right, came here out of respect. I have to tell you, it was a long journey with Mike. I remember when he called me up and he asked me if I wanted to be involved with the village, and I said, what? But then I remember Jennifer, and I said, okay, I'll get involved. It was interesting. I don't know if everybody remembers in that time, but in some of the communities, like Washingtonville, for example, they were having all kinds of crazy mayor things, and they were always in the news. And, we were never in the news that way. We were always trying to do what we could for the community, and through Mike's leadership, we did that. We kept a clean house and tried to just do what made sense. We said common sense. It really was, and we just tried to keep it down to earth and treat everybody with respect. And Mike's leadership brought us there. So I just want to say thank you. And it's been over a decade, Mike.
Well, yeah.
We pretty much handled the last 10, 11 plus years, right? But pretty cool. But Mike's been involved in politics a lot longer than that. And so the community owed you a debt of gratitude. And I hope this isn't the end, maybe a beginning of something new. Something else, but thank you, and thanks a lot for having me along. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the fourth row? Anybody at all? Mickey, you have anything? No. Jess?
I'll wait till later.
Okay. Rob?
I don't know what to do now. Mike, I just wanted to wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. We worked together a long time. One word that Sandy said that stuck out to me was stubborn. That's definitely for sure. But nonetheless, I wish you the best, and I hope you come around still.
All right, thank you, Rob. Andrew?
Yes. Okay, so let me begin by James Skoufis Senator Skoufis could not be here tonight. So he did send along this certificate of appreciation presented to Mayor Michael Queenan, honoring your decade of service to the village of Woodbury and your seat of the key to the village of Woodbury. In witness whereof, I hear, and I'm not going to read the rest. I just don't do Latin. So with that old English stuff. So Michael, on behalf of Mr. James Skoufis, I present this to you. Thank you. On a personal note, we were joking around before the meeting about Mike's attire usually for these meetings, which usually consists of a golf shirt and some kind of slacks. It's almost like Simpson-like or the Flintstones-like, because it's like a cartoon. Like every meeting, that's what Mike's wearing, okay? I met Mike when I decided to volunteer through our community through the zoning board. And it has been my pleasure to work with Mike. He is not a flashy guy. You know, he's not a funny guy. He could be considered a grump at times, okay? But at the end of the day, the village works. It is the bones and muscle of this community. He has assembled a good team. We have two of our department heads here tonight. He has always done that. He is not flash. He's not looking to put pictures of himself up on social media. He's not looking to pat himself on the back. It's just a matter of getting the job done, and he has done that. On a more personal note, as the hand-picked candidates of Michael Queenan, okay, I appreciate what he's done. This is going to be a whole new board next year other than Tim Egan. And it's tough because there's been 3 people that have been on this board for 10 years. And I don't want to downplay what the town does, but what the town handles is a lot of important departments, but it's mostly enhancement departments, like the library, like your senior center, and whatnot. What is handled by the village board, the zoning, the planning, the building department, the highway department, the water and sewer, are really what I said earlier. They are the bones of our community. And Michael has done that with Tim and with Tom and Buddy and Neil and David Sutz and a few others, done a very good job handling those departments. So much so that I don't know if people really realize what the village does at times. I want to thank Michael because since me and Jesus have been elected, he's gone above and beyond to make sure that when he leaves office, that we kind of know what we're doing. This is not an easy gig, I must say. And Michael has taken the time to make sure that we're ready to move things forward for Woodbury. So I want to thank him. I want to thank him for his dedication in this community because it goes beyond just serving as mayor. If you've seen anything with the Woodbury Lions over the last couple of days, it has been one thing after the other with Santa Claus and cooking pancakes where Michael was standing there for about 4 or 5 hours over a hot griddle, picking up pancake after pancake after pancake and yelling at me how I mix my batter. Or adopting a family for the holidays, which they did with the Lions Club. He has always gone above and beyond just the political aspects of this community. So I thank him. I thank him on behalf of me, my family, and the families of Woodbury. So Michael, you will be missed. And don't be a stranger. Thank you.
Thank you. This is?
Yeah, well, how come his mic never dies? His keeps on going. Well, Mike, when I first met Mike, he came into the Knights of Columbus, and he said, oh, the mayor's joining. I said, oh, okay. That guy's a grumpy old man. He's got that puss face, but they said, oh, take your time, get to know him. He's not a, and when I did, it turns out he's a great guy, and I kind of miss. Hello? See? Nice. So I wish you would have stayed a little longer. Not anything on my. Timmy, we all knew. And I think we need a little more time, wisdom, knowledge, run, do all. But you have taken your time, extra time. I mean, you could call anytime. He's here to answer any questions you might have. So thank you for helping us. I hope you're still there. We call you and you just tell us, oh, I'm done. I know you'll help us, and I appreciate it.
You know my number. You could always call me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just not after like 8:30.
Not after.
He's already sleeping.
7.
I never
Right.
see a man go to bed so early. He'll be in bed by
Fast.
7:45 tonight, people. That's it.
Why do you think so fast? Sure. So, like Tom said, I very vividly remember when Mike called me up one day and said, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you about something. You mind if I come up?" And he came to my house, and it was the fall of 2008, right? Fall of 2008. And I was outside, raking the leaves or something like that. And I had almost the exact same reaction you did, Tom. Mike asked me, geez, I'm going to be running for mayor in the spring, and I'd like you to consider running with me. And my response was, are you out of your mind, but a little bit more vehemently. So I wanted to share that. But about a year and a half ago, I was having lunch with a friend of mine who I've known since the 80s. And during lunch, it turns out that we have a mutual friend, and that mutual friend is mine. This is the guy that went to school with Mike back in the Bronx, not too far from where I went to school in the Bronx about 10 years later. And Sandy, something you said was almost exactly what he told me about Mike when he was a boy. And what he said was that Mike was the kind of guy that would put himself between you and any problem that you were facing, between you and any bullies, between you and anybody that wanted to hurt you, and he'd be the first guy to stand up and have your back and protect you and do the right thing for you. And obviously those values transcended into adulthood for Mike, because that's exactly what he does now, what he's done in his entire career in public service. So from 2002 to 2005, Mike served us on the planning board. From 2006 to 2009, he served us on the town board. And of course, he got elected in the spring of 2009, and he's been serving as village mayor ever since. But as Andrew said, in addition to that, he served as on the Woodbury Community Association and on the Lions Club. And throughout all of these things that Mike's done, representing Woodbury and taking care of Woodbury, he's done it in a reserved fashion. He's done it with a lot of fanfare. He just did it. He takes care of the community. He's community-minded, and he always does the right thing, obviously since he was a boy. And for those and many other reasons, we're tonight presenting Mike for the first time that he's not doing this with the key to the village. We're presenting this to Mike on behalf of the Woodbury Board of Trustees, on behalf of the Planning Board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, Desiree, Jessica, Rob, all the village staff, on behalf of all of us, please accept this gratitude for a job well done. Thank you very much. Yeah, we should, after.
Someone take a picture of him.
So this has only been given out 4 times. Right? This is the 4th time?
I believe that.
This is the first 3 times over the past 10 years it's been given out. Great people in the community, people like Colin Pierce. This is the first time that the award's been given out to Mike, obviously, and not by. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna let it go because I can't.
Oh, Jess?
You're- Yeah.
Leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence. You have always been willing to fight and stand up for what you believe is the best for Woodbury with true commitment straight from your heart. Desiree and I will miss trying to figure out what you actually mean when you mispronounce everyday words. For example, when you say, "I'll take some Guatemala," you actually mean you want some guacamole. We will miss our in-depth conversations, the inside jokes, Spider Solitaire, Petula Clark, Jeopardy, karaoke, your dancing, and your made-up lyrics to country songs. But mostly we will miss the unspoken respect and trust that few people are lucky enough to share with the people that they work with. On behalf of the man who received the first key to the village, I'm sure he would wish you a very happy retirement, tell you what a joy it was to work with you, and be thankful for the friendship that you two shared. And then, of course, ask to meet for a cup of coffee and a viewing of Pitch Perfect. Words cannot properly express our gratitude for your contributions and the wisdom you brought to our community. With sincere gratitude for your compassion, guidance, and outstanding leadership you have provided to the Village of Woodbury over the last 17 years, we thank you and wish you the best in the future.
Thank you.
I do have something real quick. So, after you, speak, because I know you wrote a speech or something, because you always have such delicate things to say. And then after we adjourned the meeting for the last time with you as mayor, last week you were going on and on about ice cream and cookies and cream ice cream with chocolate sprinkles, although you preferred on soft serve. Well, we couldn't get a soft serve ice cream machine, but we do have a little ice cream social planned to have after the meeting today. I know it's not on your diet, but that's okay. I got you the chicken parm without the cheese for that reason. Okay? Okay, go ahead, because I can't anymore.
By the way, he's been on that diet.
Oh my God, forever. I can't eat this. Give me 3 bags of chips.
I just
You didn't hear that.
Just got in trouble.
She didn't hear it.
Well, I do appreciate everything that was said tonight.
Here, use this one. It's louder.
I do appreciate all that was said tonight. It's humbling. Actually, I didn't plan to really say anything tonight. I just planned on saying something like, it's been a pleasure serving the people of Woodbury for like 20 years. I enjoyed it. It was my honor. And I really love Woodbury, and I wanted the best for Woodbury. And that's why I did it. That's the only reason why I did it. No other reason. I was on the planning board for 4 years, and I ran for town board because I found out the planning board was a 5-year term, and I said, oh my God, I can't do this for another year. So I decided to run for the town board. I got elected. Actually, I had to go through a primary, won the primary. Then I go through the election, and won that. And while serving on the town board, the village came along. I was involved somewhat in the organization of that, but kind of at the end there, I didn't know if the village was a good idea. However, today I feel the village is a great idea because I think it protects us in a lot of ways that most people don't even realize, but it's not going to go into that here and now. Then I decided to run for the village because I felt the village just got started and it really needed to get organized and to get going. And one of the things I found out, when I came to the village, I was very fortunate that we had some good trustees, and more importantly, we had good department heads. We had a great clerk. And when you have good people working for you, which we have, and the village of Woodbury and the town of Woodbury are very fortunate for the people and the employees that we have because they do a good job, a great job, as a matter of fact. And it shows. I mean, when it snows, I want to thank the highway department. Last storm was a brutal storm. It lasted for like over 48 hours, I think, and they were out there the whole time. Water and sewer department, I mean, you don't see them during a storm either, but they're out there too. They still got to check the pump stations. They still got to check the plants. They got to plow out the stations and everything because, the water has to be checked all the time daily. Unfortunately, I hate to mention it, but the sewage has to be also checked daily because we have to keep that moving. So everybody's working all the time, even when everybody's home on a nice snowy day, taking it easy. Our employees are out there working for you. And, it made my job a lot easier that we had great employees like this in the village offices, the department heads, and their staff out there. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention like 2 areas we need some help, and that's the fire department and the Woodbury ambulance. So I think if anybody would consider about volunteering for those departments, I think it would be, a benefit to give back to the community. And I know it's tough because people, they have families, they commute to work. I mean, we're mostly a bedroom community. And I realize how tough it is with all the requirements and training and stuff like that. But still, it's a good to be part of a team that does something for the community. So people should really consider that. And, the one thing I feel bad about is, there's still some work to be done. And, I hate not finishing something. I like to finish things. But I feel sometimes it's better for change. Not change is always good, but you need a different perspective on how you see things. And, sometimes you get stale when you're in a job for too long, so it's time to move on and do something else. So I think it's a good time at this point for a change. I'll always be around, so if anybody has any questions, I'll always be available to the village, and or the town. Like I said, it's about Woodbury. It's about us as a community. It's not about us versus them. Woodbury should be one. You'll notice on all the village vehicles out there, it says Woodbury Highway Department, Woodbury Water and Sewer Department, Woodbury Fire Department. We don't say village, okay? Because we really want it to be one community. I remember when John Burke was alive and he was town supervisor, I had a conversation with him one day. He agreed with me, but out of false habit, he kept calling it the Central Valley Pond at that time. Now it's the John Burke Memorial Pool. I said, we have a problem by calling something Central Valley or Highland Mills, even though they're hamlets. They have no official capacity whatsoever. But we should start referring to things as Woodbury. So the people in Central Valley don't consider themselves Central Valleyans, and the people of Highland Mills don't consider themselves, people from Highland Mills. It's one Woodbury, and we really need to work together. And, people need to get involved in the community and understand what's going on. And, when there's an election, they should come out and vote. But, it is, no matter how we look at it, it's about us, and at the end of the day, it's what we put into it is what we're going to get out of it. So, I didn't plan to really say anything, and I said a lot more than I thought I was going to say, and people are probably going, where the hell's that ice cream? So I'm going to wrap it up by saying, again, it's been a pleasure and an honor to serve the people of Woodbury, and I would do it all over again if the opportunity ever presented itself. Not now, but if I went back in time. So anyway, with that, I want to thank everybody this evening for all the nice words they said. And I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus for the rest of you. And I hope everybody has a happy, safe holiday season. Thank you and good night. And with that, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you and good night.